D-Mac, I'm locking in.
Do it.
Second by second in this show, man.
Absolutely.
Second by second in this week. It is.
And you know what? Like, think about it, and we all feel differently coming into this draft, even though it's here, right? But, like, sort of the buzz and like you were talking about. But I knew at some point it would be here. So now it officially starts.
It hit me this morning at 9:38 this morning.
Take it over and do what you do.
All right, D-Mac, so here's the deal. And this is where I'm going to lean on Spenny a little bit because, again, I go into more ideology and philosophy. Spenny's my player guy, right? Like, Spenny's the one that's deep in these streets for the player. But I want to run something by you all here. And we'll get into what you think they should do and all that kind of stuff next segment. But this just kind of popped in my head this morning. And here's the deal. At 29, maybe the trade up. Maybe the trade back. I don't know. But what I could see the Lions doing that nobody is really talking about. Now, one of the main talking points, D-Mac, you and I discussed this last week, interior offensive line, versatile, like guards, centers, those kinds of guys. That's kind of where I settled in. And you signed off on that.
I did. I did. I could see him going. Like, you honestly, we talked about it before, with what they've addressed in re-signing guys, free agency, things like that, it's really unpredictable of which way they want to go. I mean, to me, it's either going that route, with the Haas type guy on the offensive line, or addressing the cornerback, right? Or addressing the cornerback, obviously with the subtraction of Cam Sutton, and you're looking for a number 2, but and we know there's talented cornerbacks out there, so yeah, but. I don't know which way to go. You asked me to bet money on it, I wouldn't know which way to go. The only thing I know is we're moving up into the first round when Big D Energy does the picks. That's all I know.
That's all you know.
I don't know what we're getting.
That's all you got. You'll end every statement today
every
with
statement.
That. All right, I'll bring in Spenny here. So Spenny, here's my roadmap with this and why I think that this could happen. Am I calling for it? No, but if it does happen, they followed the roadmap that I'm going to lay out here. Now, we know about Jared Goff and the contract situation, right?
Yep.
It's going to get done. It might be done. Maybe they're waiting on the timing for it. I contend that they'll do it after June 1st. But, Spenny, could I interest you in Jared Goff at whatever the number, 45 to 50 million?
Okay.
But I'm going to get you a $19 million discount on that next year and going forward.
What does that mean?
So here's how this is going to work, Spenny. What I'm thinking now.
What does that mean?
Me thinks this. If they say they stay at 29, or maybe they have someone ID'd, and this is where I'll lean to you.
Okay.
We know that Taylor Decker, is in the last year of his deal at $19 million. We know that the Jared Goff deal is going to get done. We can all agree.
Yeah.
Everybody, even in the chat, all the Goff haters, even Easy, I think, would agree with this. Here's the deal. Spenny, just for the sake of argument at 29, could I interest you in a Marius Mims or an Marius Mims style? If you got to move up to get somebody, fine. I believe that the financial reward is worth the draft acquisition cost. I honestly believe that. If you have a guy, if they have a tackle that's targeted, you're going to pull the trigger on that. You're going to make the move. And Taylor Decker and his $19 million comes off the books. The following year, you're going to plug somebody in at about $4.5 or $5 million, and away we go. I'll give you a head start on Goff's contract extension. I'll reset the clock at the other tackle spot. I'll basically move Panay into Decker's spot. I'll put a new Panay in Panay's spot, and away we go. Come on.
No. I think they've been talking with Taylor Decker about extending him, and I think they're going to do that. I think if they go offensive line, they're going to go interior offensive line in that first round. I don't know if tackle is what they go for.
Okay, which I'm with you.
Yeah.
If to go back to D-Mac's thing.
I'm with spending more on this to whatever else, and a lot of it has to do with the conversations talked about extending Decker.
Yeah, absolutely. And if I had to bet money on it, D-Mac, Jackson Powers, Johnson, those guys, right? Like
Right.
I'm in, and I am in on that because the same thing holds true, right? Mm-hmm. Because you look at losing Jonah Jackson, and you could plug somebody in on a rookie deal to take his spot. Maybe not this year because you have Graham Glasgow, the ultimate insurance policy.
Kevin Zeiler,
And you address it in free agency as well. So you have that handled, but a bigger dollar position. If you're going to be bold. And guys, if I'm betting on it, I'm not betting on this. I know that that's not the way people are going to take this. You're going to run at this, and I'll get a tweet, after the first pick. I thought you said they were taking a tackle, Neil. No, I'm giving you guys, D-Mac, you co-sign on this. Be prepared. Right. That's all I'm saying.
It's an option.
Be prepared for it to be a possibility. Now, I know Easy will twist that and say, oh, you said they were going to take a tackle because that's how Easy rolls.
Yeah.
No. What I'm saying is be prepared. It's an option, D-Mac, as you said.
So I look at
You don't hate it, do you?
No, not at all. But I look at it, if they stay at 29, it'll be this fill-in-the-gap offensive line guy that you're talking about, interior, something like that. If they move up, I think it's a corner. If they move back, I think it's more so of a corner or a receiver or something that aspect. So, yeah, like that's the whole thing is going into it. And all the other teams, they don't know what you're going to do.
Yeah.
But you have assets. I thought a great point that was brought up. I don't even know where I heard it, but do with the way this team's constructed, they can afford to make a deal and put in a couple extra draft picks, because do they really need all 7 draft picks? Because they've been like, this is a different situation that we're in too, because we have guys that we've drafted in previous years that are part of this team that are actually contributing, right? So which means that instead of every year you need 7 new guys to come in, maybe their thing is we only need 4 or 5.
That's true.
But if we get the right ones. Does that make sense, Neil? So that means that if they're going to maneuver some of their draft capital, either for this year or the futures, it's because it gets them to their end goal quicker. And I could see that happening. So, every scenario makes sense, whether I like some more than others. I think my preferred scenario, move up into the first round and draft me a corner.
Preferably between picks 11 and 20.
I mean, you know what? If it's like 17 or 18, I'm not mad.
Preach.
IT Hips in the Woodward Sports chat. Subscribe to the Woodward Sports YouTube channel. Get in there. Get ready, everybody. Tens of thousands of you will ride with us on draft night. So have everything lined up and ready to go. IT Hips. So you're going to sign Decker, Goff, St. Brown, and do a 5th-year option on Sewell. I don't see how it's all possible. And IT Hips, that was the second layer of what I was going to talk about. It's a bit of a preemptive strike and we need to get accustomed to this. KG, I've been saying this and DMAC, you know that I've been saying this for the better part of since last July.
Yeah.
When you have a good team, you need to get accustomed to stuff. And we are going to lose good players. Ask the Bills. I know I've been told the cap's not real. You've been told the cap's not real by people at this network.
That's true.
But then they never seem to bring up the fact that the Buffalo Bills had 11 people walk out the door. They never bring that part of it up, right?
All premier names, too.
All premier names. So remember that. And IT Hips, that's the thought tree that I'm pulling from. Again, I'm not calling for this to happen. Don't get that twisted. I'm just saying be prepared and start thinking like this. Mm-hmm. This can save you a lot of money. And just remember this, too. Co-world. Because it is.
Yeah.
This is cutthroat. When you are a good football team, the salary cap is a very cutthroat situation. Could you imagine the Lions organization trading a player the caliber of Stephon Diggs in your Super Bowl window when you're knocking on the door and your fans demand that you win? Could you imagine it?
No. But
this town would lose their mind.
It would. Because we're not used to seeing that, though.
Thank you, KG. Thank you. That's all I was driving at, D-Mac. WoodwardSports.com chat thread. Kevin Bell. Decker is going to be better this year than last year. And Kevin, I'll agree with you in this sense, D-Mac, and you're the athlete in the room. You tell me. You're the professional athlete. When those contract years roll around, It's weird
Well,
how durable
and
you are. It's weird how locked in you are.
Let's add that to having a surgery to repair a nagging injury that's hampered you for 8 to 10 years, So your motivation's a little different. Plus, when you have the owner talking about the Super Bowl, your focus is a little bit different. He'll be ready to go. And yeah, this is the time for him to eat.
All of a sudden, man. And I don't hate it. I bank on that. That's a fantasy football strategy that I've used for a very long time. That's worked out well.
Can be fruitful.
Dudes ball out. The only really time I can think that I was burned on it was last year with Austin Eckler. That's really about the only time. All the other times, it's worked perfectly, flawlessly. Yeah. So, it is. Lorena Rios. Neil, what about Broderick Martin?
What about him?
Right.
His defensive lineman.
And you know what? Now it becomes right. You give you a couple years, and now you become, more of a dead weight. If you can either get it or somebody else come and take your job.
Right.
What about Broderick Martin?
What about Broderick Martin?
That's pretty much.
All right, we still waiting.
And just remember, DJ Reader's in that room now, so Broderick Martin's path got infinitely harder, not easier.
A lot harder.
Cold world.
And also to that, maybe bringing in DJ Reader opens up Broderick Martin. You need that you have that veteran guy, and you never know. Sometimes that happens where they can, lead the way.